the right players. I was fortunate that I made my monies with guys that are good players from some of those schools. So I think just doing your due diligence, like we tell you guys, utilizing your relationships, utilizing your connections, and maintaining those relationships. You can't just be a guy that's going to hit this guy up in 1 year, then 5 years later you come back to him. I mean, when they call you, give them the time of day. When they text you, respond in a timely manner. So I think if you just treat people the right way, do right, live right, you're going to reciprocate the benefits of some.
What's the process like of establishing trust? Obviously, every high school coach wants to send their kid to USC or some of these schools, but you got to know who the real ones are versus the not real ones. How long does it take before a coach will really give you, okay, this is one of your guys, this might not be one of your guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's some coaches, whether you've known them for 6 years, 7 years, whether it's a new coach that you got to develop that relationship with, it's kind of just getting to that level of comfort where you can say, okay, I trust this guy, he's given us the right prospect, or hey, let's continue to do our homework, let's talk to some more people involved in this kid's life, let's just make sure we're checking all the boxes.
Obviously, sorry if you've been asked multiple things, but obviously got a little banged up in spring, but what have you seen from Zacharyus Williams since transitioning from inside?
Yeah, he had a really hot start, making a lot of competitive catches, runs very well, physical blocker. Just got all the tools that I want to coach. And he's already back healthy, so it'll be exciting.
Is there like coaching tight ends and receivers? Is there a difference in blocking technique you have to coach? Or
obviously, when they're in line, there's going to be the different techniques and fundamentals. But when the guys are flexed out in space, all the techniques are going to go to the
What have you seen from Mark Bowman so far?
Strong spring. Obviously, we knew the player he's capable of being throughout the recruiting process. I think as he got more comfortable with the playbook over time, then he was able to play faster and think less. And so I think really after that spring break period, when we finished those last 2 weeks, those are the 2 strong weeks that he really had.
What have you seen from Nela Tupou, his kind of development from last year? Obviously, played some edge in high school, so making the full transition.
Yeah, and I think that bowl game was the best thing that could have happened to Nela, getting all those reps and being in that starter role with the 2 other guys not playing in it. And so he got a lot of reps that month of December getting ready for that game, and he came back with a different confidence this spring. But Nell's a great guy. I mean, like, he's probably at the most energy, high effort guy that we've got out there offensively. And so kudos to him, because when you practice the right way with good energy and good intentions, you're going to have success.
Yeah. What is Ashcraft? You've been asked. What has he brought to the room? It's just a veteran presence. Been in the Big Ten, obviously. Looks like a tight end. What does he bring to the room?
Physicality, experience. He's just got that grit where he's going to roll up his sleeves, get his hands dirty, because he's been a Big Ten tight end before, so he knows what it takes to have success in this conference. But physical point of attack guy, and we're excited to coach him.
How would you grade your guys in terms of physicality? Obviously, he's a wide receiver, but you've got to be just as physical as anyone else out there.
Yeah,
Did anyone really stand out this spring?
Trent Mosey for sure. Receiver position, packs a punch when he's got the ball in his hands, willing blocker on the perimeter. But I think you get what you emphasize, and I'm going to emphasize physicality every single day, and I'm going to emphasize that you got to be able to block on the perimeter. And if you don't do that, you're not going to see the field. And so when you emphasize it every single day in the meeting room, when you emphasize it at practice, I think you're going to see it be displayed on the practice field. And so not just trying a lot of guys are buying into that, but now it's just got to be something we do every single day.
You talked about Mark being a willing blocker. Is that something you can give to a guy, or is it something that he kind of has to arrive with?
You really have to arrive with it now, because it's always that question: can you coach physicality? Right? There's cultures that are physical, but I think the guys really got to arrive with it, and it's a choice. You either got to be physical or you don't.
And we only get huddle tape, right? So we're only going to get the 20 greatest, 50 greatest plays, right? But as you're vetting these guys, how do you go about trusting that they've got the down-by-down physicality as opposed to just flashing every once in a while in a game?
I think just coaching them every single play off everything we do, whether it's individual tape, whether it's our inside run stuff, or whether it's our pod work, whether it's our screen drill that we're doing with the defense. Coaching everything, whether it's not just the technique, you can coach their physicality. Do you understand, like, this is the job, this is winning football, this is not winning football, and if it's not winning football, they're not going to be on the field. Pretty simple.
What are some of the biggest traits that you look for in prospects and in the guys that you want to kind of coach?
What position?
On the inside or on tight end?
Yeah, inside receiver, I think it's going to be, you want guys that have a good feel for space, guys that are willing blockers, guys that can stretch the field vertically but also have good short area quickness, strong hands, display courage across the middle, some kind of special teams value with returners. Tight ends, really depending on what body type we're looking for. But we want complete tight ends. We don't want a guy that's just pigeonholed into a select role. A guy that can be a mismatch in the pass game, but at the same time he can be a really just dirty blocker too that can get the job done.
What are some traits that are things that you can develop in guys? When it comes to, guys that may not be fully well-rounded and you can develop this aspect of their game.
Just the technique that the position requires. I know all the techniques will be developed to our best ability.
You have a lot of high character guys that you end up recruiting. What traits do you look for when you? Because these are your high school kids. How do you figure that out?
I just think throughout the recruiting process, like how well do they communicate? How do they carry themselves when you're at their high school? Or how do they carry themselves when you're doing an in-home visit? How do they carry themselves when they're around campus, around other kids on a visit? You can really get a feel for a kid by how he interacts with other guys. Does he take his hat off in meetings? Does he take his hood off when he's talking to the head coach? Does he take his headphones out? I mean, if they do the little things right, you can kind of gauge what kind of person they are. But we're evaluating everything they do.
That was a big push. I knew those guys did that.